Well, listen, I'm not going to incorporate the odds into this because that gets too complicated. The Chiefs have worse odds, which makes them naturally a little better bet if you assume the teams are equivalent. Let's not do that. Let's just assume, you know what I mean, someone were to ask you, even money, who do you got, Bills or Chiefs? My answer is quite simple, which is the Chiefs, because I just need to see the Bills win a big game that isn't against baby Belichick's defense and Mac Jones's offense. That's all I need. I have respect for the Bills. I have admiration for what Josh Allen has become, and I have literally had to wear ketchup and mustard on my face for doubting them. With that said, even with the addition of Von Miller, I don't expect a defense that was number one in football last year to be anywhere close to that again this year. I think we see consistently over decades of NFL data that defensive regression happens every single year. That defensive consistency, unless you have Ray Lewis manning the middle of your linebacking core, is almost impossible to achieve. So almost by definition, the defense will regress somewhat. And keeping the same player and paying him more does not make your offense better. And so the Chiefs were better than the Bills last year. The Chiefs have never lost to the Bills in the playoffs since Joe Montana was the Chiefs quarterback. So I think it is closer than it has been in the entire Mahomes era. And the Bills obviously have the easier path thanks to the AFC East having no other high quality or even real quality teams. But I still believe the best bet in the AFC is the Kansas City Chiefs.
This is tough for me, Nick, because as you know, I've said that Mahomes can be Jordan-esque, GOAT potential. And to reach those predictions, he has to win more. And I think he will over time. But he's not going to win every year. Tom Brady went a decade without winning a Super Bowl. All right? Next year, the better bet in the AFC is the Buffalo Bills. Okay? They've been knocking at the Chiefs' door, getting closer and closer for the last 3 years. And I think next year is when they can get over the top. All right, you mentioned the defensive regression. Even if it regresses a little bit, and I don't think it's like going to fall off the map. Even if it regresses a little bit, it will likely be better than Kansas City's. Kansas City wasn't great last year. They certainly came on and got better over the second half of the season, but they lost their inspirational leader, Tyrann Mathieu. We all know that. Okay, and then offensively, I don't know what Tyreek Hill's role was in that locker room. You may know better than me. But I do know that having a speed demon capable of big plays certainly had to be comforting to the other players.
Of course.
Like any moment, this dude can blast off. All right, so they don't have that anymore. And the receiving core is not bad. Like, I think you know that. The receiving core isn't bad. So they're still going to be a very good team. But when you look at the division, the Bills are going to have a better record. They're going to have a better seeding. And then their defense is going to be better. The offense can be just as good. And so I got to go Wildes with Buffalo, which also will be even hungrier because they haven't tasted it yet like the Chiefs have.
Yeah, obviously. The answer to this question is obviously the Bills. And Josh Allen went on a playoff tear. We all saw him throw, let me make sure I have this right, 9 touchdowns, 640 yards, completed 77% of his passes. The only thing that stopped him was the coin flip, which was so egregious, the league said, you know what, let's change the rules. Josh Allen deserved another shot. And here's the other scary numbers, Nick. These aren't Josh Allen numbers. 11 catches for 150 yards and a touchdown. That was Tyreek Hill's stat line. Bills, Chiefs. Where's that production coming from? Juju and his TikToks are going to give you 11 catches for 150 yards. I think he had a few very long catches there. Where is that coming from? And a second question is this. Suppose Josh Allen lost Stefon Diggs. Oh, he's gone. He went to Miami. Would you be sitting here saying, you know what? I expect Josh Allen to have just as good as a year, even though he lost one of the most dynamic wide receivers in the league? Of course not. So the idea that Patrick Mahomes is all-powerful and is not going to miss Tyreek Hill. And that Travis Kelce's production is not going to suffer too when people start to focus on him rather than have to worry about Tyreek Hill is ludicrous. It's obviously the Bills by a long margin. And Jenna, they're not going to have, there's no going to be an AFC championship rematch because the Chiefs aren't going to be there.
Okay, so it won't be an AFC Championship game rematch because the Bills didn't get to the AFC Championship game last year. They lost to the Chiefs in the divisional round. So that's first of all. So it won't. You're right. It won't be an AFC Championship. When they played in the AFC Championship game, the Chiefs outscored them. Went on a 38-6 run after spotting the Bills 9 points. That's what actually happened. That's the real history here. And I understand that we now live in a world where the Bills losing Brian Daboll, who is credited with helping turn Josh Allen the player that he is, totally irrelevant, doesn't matter. And the Chiefs losing Tyreek Hill, the sky is falling. But here's my problem with Wildes' analysis of the Tyreek Hill trade. Because it wasn't a Tyreek Hill retirement, and it wasn't a Tyreek Hill, they didn't waive him or cut him. Guys, if I sell my house and I'm yet to buy another house, but I have all the money from selling the house, are you going to be like, oh man, times are tough for Nick? Why? Well, he's homeless right now. It's like, well, I mean, I sold my house. I'm going to buy another one. We are evaluating the Chiefs trade in Tyreek Hill, in which they got back draft picks before the draft takes place. So of course, right now, this moment, they are markedly worse. They have not been able to use what they traded Tyreek Hill for. I'm guessing they're not going to pull a Vikings from 12 years ago and let their pick just pass. Can't get the card in. We'll waive the option to draft somebody. My guess is they use the picks. Either package them for a player or draft a bunch of guys. Yeah. So I would, that's fine. Listen, I get it. Here's the thing, Drew. It's hard for Wildes, a Patriots fan, to conceptualize. No, of course they're not
still trying to find.
But it's hard for Wildes, a Pats fan, to conceptualize a young wide receiver actually helping a team because his team hasn't drafted a quality one in 30 years. So, but it does happen. It does happen.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.